Voting is underway. The primary is about a month away, but already people have been casting their ballots, and we continue our conversation with candidates for U.S. Senate. On Monday, we talk with Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Today, we talk with her DFL opponent in the primary for U.S. Senate, and that is Congresswoman Angie Craig, who joins us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline from Washington, D.C. Congresswoman, good to visit with you.
Jason, great to be back.
Let's get right into the issue of immigration, which I believe, and I assume you believe as well, that in the DFL, this has emerged since probably December of last year as the biggest issue in the DFL primary. Every day over the last week when I've said that I'm having you on, people have responded to me by saying that they don't trust you on immigration because you voted for the Laken Riley Act and you voted to thank ICE after all of what happened here in Minnesota. Why did it take so long for you to say, I regret the Laken Riley vote?
So first of all, Jason, Minnesotans are used to me being honest. And as I stood at the Whipple Detention Center, as I met with constituents who were being literally rounded up by ICE in Minnesota under Operation Metro Surge, I couldn't help but regret giving this administration any additional authority. And, I hear the critics as it relates to the timing. And of course, that's sort of a pessimistic view of politics. And I do think people want some optimism right now, but I think they also want honest leaders. They're tired of politicians who aren't willing to admit when they make a mistake. And, I talked to a lot of people, during this time frame where I wanted to figure out, how do I tell Minnesotans that I regret this vote? And, I didn't want to do it in a quote or a press release. I wanted, and I would encourage everyone listening, if you have that concern, go read my op-ed that I published in the Star Tribune. I wrote every single word of it, and I think it reflects my full views about that time period, 3 days into the new Trump administration, when I, along with a number of other Democrats, Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock and Mark Kelly, people I deeply respect, also voted for that bill. But I tell you, Operation Metro Surge was horrific. And I do regret giving them any additional authority, even if they aren't following any laws, because they weren't during that period of time. I regretted the vote. One of the people is actually Dave Wellstone, who is the son of our late senator. And we talked a lot. Dave is supporting me in the U.S. Senate race, and we talked a lot about a vote that his dad regretted when he voted for the Defense of Marriage Act, which of course affected families like mine. And, I wanted to be honest with the people of Minnesota. I will tell you when I get it wrong, and I got that one wrong.
Have you learned anything from that process? Because I think your critics look at this not only in the individual of that vote, but say there's a skepticism on, is Angie Craig kind of running the poll numbers or looking at the fact that she was in a divided district and making a political calculation? Or does Angie Craig stand for something? That, I think, is the underlying issue.
Well, I would say to Minnesota voters, I have fought like hell to get so many of my constituents home, including a young woman who needed surgery for an ovarian cyst. I literally filed articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem. And at the end of the day, Jason, I've always believed that, securing our border and honoring the fundamental principle that we're a nation of immigrants are not mutually exclusive. I have always stood, long before this one vote, as someone who supports making our nation's dreamers, allowing them to become American citizens, strong supporter of ensuring that people who've been here, who've obeyed the law, who've paid their taxes, who've contributed, have a path to legal status in our nation, long been opposed to separating families. All of those things are also on my track record, my voting record since I've been a member of Congress. I flew down to Texas to meet with my constituent, Andrea, to try to get her back home. And thankfully, she is back home, touring the detention centers down there. And what I can say to Minnesotans is that that vote, this experience, the rage that I felt as the Trump administration literally targeted my Black and brown neighbors, has made me more committed than ever as a U.S. Senator, as a U.S. Congresswoman, to comprehensive immigration reform in our country. I know we talk about it, but at the end of the day, these are families, and we can be a nation.
What do we do?
And a nation of immigrants.
Yeah, what do we do about it? Peggy Flanagan, when I asked her about it and about ICE, there's been a move, and there are many progressive candidates around the country who are winning primaries on the Democratic Party side who are advocating abolishing ICE. What do you do to make sure the borders stay secure, but also figure out a way to move forward?
Well, I think this administration, how they're using ICE, it's illegal and it's dangerous. We need additional congressional oversight, comprehensive reform. We need them to identify who the hell they are on the streets. We need them to use local law enforcement techniques for policing. Of course, we need a strong border and immigration officials. But at the end of the day, these people were out of control on the streets of Minnesota. And, we have got to make sure that we do not fund ICE. And I've voted against funding ICE every single time I've had that opportunity as a member of Congress until these reforms are put in place. I am a huge proponent of making sure that we put guardrails on this administration's tactics for immigration enforcement.
Angie Craig is with us, U.S. Congresswoman running for U.S. Senate on the DFL side. We did have, and I mentioned, another DSA, Democratic Socialist candidate, winning a primary. It happened in New York City. It happened in Colorado. We have seen this sort of debate playing out in your race. Now, Peggy Flanagan said she is a DFLer when I asked if she is a socialist. But how do you make sense of that? Where maybe a year ago saying I'm a moderate, pragmatic Democrat would be appealing. And today it sure seems like the energy is on the more progressive side of the party.
Well, I actually think that the energy is not with the labels at all. I think the energy is with candidates who are willing to shake things up in Washington. I think that a lot of folks are really frustrated with the level of pushback on the part of the administration and with the status quo in D.C. And look, I'll be honest, I've been frustrated as well. I've only been in politics for the last 8 years. I had a career before I ever ran and flipped a Republican district in the 2nd District. And, some of the things that I've worked to try to accomplish and that as a U.S. Senator, I still would things like banning members of Congress from trading stocks or becoming lobbyists or ensuring that, campaign finance reform. We had another really tough ruling in the Supreme Court this week. I want to blow up the Supreme Court at this point. We either need term limits or we do need to finally think about expanding the court. And we sure as hell can't let Donald Trump get another justice approved. And I think we have to understand that moment. I mean, I was so frustrated with the Democratic Party that after my 14-point win in the 2nd District in the last election, Jason, I came back and I took on the 2 most senior members of the Ag Committee. I was about number 20 down on the seniority list on the Ag Committee, and I took them on and I won, and now I'm the top Democrat on the House Ag Committee. So, look, I'm with a lot of people in their frustration of the Democratic Party and have from day one been committed to shaking things up. And at the end of the day, the real problem in this country is the wealth gap. It's the fact that, Trump and Republicans have focused all of their attention on tax cuts for billionaires while the middle class and the working class in this country continues to get screwed. And people are frustrated by it. And not only do I understand it, I want to change it.
Angie Craig is with us. I want to ask about fraud. I think that's the number one issue that many people are focused on here in the state of Minnesota. How much responsibility for the millions, hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars of fraud we've seen in Minnesota? How much responsibility do you assess to Governor Tim Walz for the fraud on his watch? And does Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan deserve some of the blame or the accountability for the fraud that happened?
Well, what I can say is that Republicans, if she is our U.S. Senate candidate, are going to ascribe all of the blame to the lieutenant governor because she would be on the ballot and served as the number 2 in state government over the last 8 years.
But is that fair? Do you blame her at all?
Fairly or not, that is exactly how Republicans are going to run against her. And, candidly, I take offense at the lieutenant governor continuing to shift all of the blame for fraud to the governor. He certainly accepted his fair share and responsibility for fixing it. But the fact that she has deflected all of that to the governor, I don't see that as holding herself accountable. I'm holding myself accountable for a vote that I regret. The lieutenant governor ran the state for a period of time while Governor Walz was running for vice president. She has claimed to have had responsibility over, homelessness and housing and elements where there was fraud detected later in the state. And, I personally find it offensive that she hasn't taken any responsibility or accountability. And beyond that, she actually hasn't offered a lot of solutions for how we should address the issue. And I can tell you that Lieutenant Governor, she has a unique vulnerability if she's the U.S. Senate candidate as the number 2 in state government for the last 8 years.
You talk about the wealth gap and Trump and the president, and today it came out that during his time in the presidency, he's made, $2 billion, largely from crypto. You were at a crypto conference last year as the only elected Democrat. Are you too close to that industry?
Absolutely not. I was there in my official capacity as the ranking member of the House Agriculture Committee. I sat on a panel because the CFTC, which is under my committee jurisdiction, has jurisdiction over crypto. And quite frankly, while I was there, I got booed by the crowd because I was explaining to them that it is a significant issue that the president and his family are participating in this market. And beyond that, I have a bill that I've introduced that would ban any president from having any business interest while serving as president of the United States. It would force him to put all of those into a blind trust and the blind trust to actually sell off those assets. Look, at the end of the day, we've got to put guardrails on crypto. I mean, to say that we're just going to let crypto keep running the way that they run today with no guardrails and the president continue to just participate in any business, including this one, while he's president. And the lieutenant governor, she's being disingenuous with the reason that I was at that conference. That's literally my job as ranking member of the House Ag Committee. And I would just add, Jason, the lieutenant governor has principally been absent from her job as lieutenant governor since she started running for the U.S. Senate and perhaps even before. She actually didn't even call 50% nearly of the homelessness and capital security meetings that under state statute she is responsible for. So if Lieutenant Governor is going to talk about where I was, I think we should all start talking about her absences as Lieutenant Governor in still collecting a paycheck.
Angie Craig is with us. The biggest issue in TV ads on this race has been money, been campaign money, who's funding who. You have been attacked relentlessly for money that your campaign has received since you first ran for Congress from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC. And then you stop taking money from them. What do we make of this? Is it an anti-Semitic attack? Are you against this group? As I think a lot of people look at all these ads and are like, I don't know what to make of it.
Well, first of all, what I think we should make of it is that the lieutenant governor is putting forward a purity test that she can't even pass herself. She literally raised money from big pharma, big tobacco, even an ICE detention center contractor. And by the way, the American-Israel relationship, that particular organization, they have also given to the DLGA, the Democratic Lieutenant Governors Association, that the lieutenant governor is now benefiting from. That is her super PAC vehicle. So, look, I find it all incredibly hypocritical that the lieutenant governor is criticizing my fundraising. By the way, I've been out there for 8 years now holding a seat that Republicans have come after every single cycle. They've spent $50 million trying to take me out. And, look, corporate PAC money, super PACs, Washington is absolutely broken. Anybody can see that. And I would vote today and have proposed to end Citizens United and the big money in politics. But my goodness, after the Supreme Court ruling yesterday that is going to benefit Republicans, I don't think
you can donate whatever you want to the party, and then the party can funnel however much they want to the candidate.
Are we really suggesting that this is the moment in time where Democrats should put one hand behind their back and go into this fight against Donald Trump and Republicans in the next election? I would absolutely ban all corporate PAC money, but that would need to be ban it for everybody. We can't be naive. We are in the fight of our lifetime. They are literally coming after the democratic principles of this country, in addition to the people that we love. And, I'm not going to fight with one hand tied behind my back. I know how to win tough fights. And if we want to get back to the majority, we've got to raise the resources to beat Republicans.
Angie Craig, we so appreciate the time. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, we'll visit again as we get closer to the election. Angie Craig with us. You're welcome to weigh in at 651-461-9226.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com. That is your first stop when you're looking for inspiration, looking for some delicious recipes. It's Jason here for 3,000 Family Farmers. Part of Minnesota's farm economy. It's so critical. And the numbers are staggering. The impact that Minnesota pig farmers have on our economy, it's in the billions. Jobs, yes. But it's also sharing Minnesota with the country and the world, because our family farmers are working so hard to take care of their people, take care of their pigs, take care of the planet. Now, for you, this is a big weekend, right? It's brats. Heck yeah. It's pork chops. It's pork shoulders. So many ribs. Oh, my goodness. The amount of barbecue ribs that are going to be consumed this weekend over the 4th of July. Get to your grocery store. Get to your butcher shop. Get to TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com for inspiration. So many ideas, not just for family gatherings, but for weeknight dinners. Minnesota Pork wants to be a part of good times with you and your family. Get to that butcher shop and grocery store, and let's have Minnesota Pork for dinner tonight.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code fresh for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Summer is here and you need more room for your kids or grandkids and all their stuff. It's Jason DeRusha for Luther Kia of Bloomington. We're in the middle of the summer sticker sales event. 0% on all Sportages and Sorrentos. Specially marked vehicles have $750 bonus cash too. Best cars for the money on the market. It's not just me saying it. It's U.S. News and World Report. Check out their brand new facility. Luther Kia of Bloomington now open at 35W and 494. LutherKiaofBloomington.com.
Staples Easy Deal Days are here. Score up to 50% off more than 1,000 products in-store and online. Don't miss your chance to save on tech, chairs, custom print, school supplies, and more. It all ends July 4th. Staples, that was easy.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Laken, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Got your slowdowns traveling southbound 35 east. You come down from Victoria Street down to Highway 62, 52 northbound jammed up, Plato to 94. Attention motorists, Laken, Minnesota wants you to slow down when driving in construction zones. You're now entering their work zone where they are building a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down when you see the orange cones and yellow vests and save lives. Brought to you by Laken, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn-McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Washburn McCreevy bringing us the forecast tonight. The threat of storms will clear out. Low of 68 tomorrow. So the next 4 days, it's sort of the same bit. 90 for the high. Chance of storms every day. Right now, it is 84 and sunny in downtown Minneapolis.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
That's my favorite thing to do.
It is one of my 2 or 3 favorite things to do, whether it's in the office, it's in town.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing better.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, I appreciate the comment from Lynn on Facebook. Great opportunity provided by WCCO Radio to compare the interviews of these two candidates. There are only 2 debates before the August 11th primary. So thank you, Angie. We are, and a lot of people have texted, what are you going to have Michelle Tafoya on? Guess what, everyone? It's a giant liberal conspiracy from DeRusha. Of course we want Tafoya on. What? Everyone thinks that, like, you got the gotcha. You got me. Oh, I never thought about that. Of course we want Tafoya. If you're listening, let's go. She was on with Chad. We had Adam Schwarzy on. That went well for him, don't you think? You'd think Michelle Tafoya would be ready to go. Tough questions for everybody. We want you guys to make up your minds and you decide.